Hello dear students, you are welcome in this video. Students, this is #11 video in the history of English literature. We have completed the history of English literature till Elizabethan age and we have made exclusively 6 videos on the Elizabethan age only. So, I appeal to all of you, go there and watch the Elizabethan age because Elizabethan age was an interesting age in the history of English literature where you find that drama and other forms were flourished a lot. Next, here in this video we have #11 history of English literature and the Puritan age part first. So it is not possible to cover Puritan age in single video, hence we are making some parts as we have made parts of Elizabethan age. So in this video we are going to talk about first the historical events or historical background of Puritan age. Then we will talk about the prominent features of this particular age. Now friends, when we think about the Puritan age, we find that the span of Puritan age is considered as 1620 to 1660, and in this age we have other kind of ages included. For example, we have Commonwealth period, or which is also called as the Puritan interregnum. Again we have age of Milton. So this age is called with different names like Commonwealth period and Puritan interregnum or the age of Milton. So you need to understand the Puritan age with these other names also. Now friends, here we have first historical background or historical events happened in this period. If you look at the title of this age, we find that the very crux of the age is included in its title, the Puritan age. Now the Puritan movement has been flourished in this particular period 1620 to 1660. We can find it after the reign of Elizabethan, as we have seen that the reign of Elizabeth the first was a stable kind of reign. After it we find that there happened some disturbances in England and obviously in Europe, and it has formed a great impact on the literature produced in that particular period or the then literature. Now friends, here we have Puritan movement, a prominent movement in the history of English people or in the history of English literature also, because here we have many kinds of things happened in the society. So Puritans were considered as those people who were stern in nature. Actually these are the misconceptions regarding these Puritan people or regarding the Puritans. For example, we have misconception like they were gloomy in nature, they were stern, they were against the social liberty and personal liberty, they strongly opposed the good kind of literature. But these are just misconception and it is not true, because we find among Puritans we have John Milton, the greatest poet after Shakespeare. Then we have Cromwell, we have Robert Herrick, we have Hampden, we have again different political leaders who were in favor of the social liberty and the personal liberty. So these are some of the misconceptions regarding Puritan age. Generally this movement was moral in nature. They have laid emphasis on the morality of human beings, because we find in Elizabethan age the intellectual renaissance or the intellectual stand of people, the intellectuality in literature. But here they think about the morality of people, the morality of literature, and hence sometimes they oppose the bad literature produced in those days. For example, they opposed very strongly drama. They oppose the drama in which you find there is less morality or morality do not have any place. These kind of things they opposed in literature, and hence they were considered as the stern people or the stern reformers in England. Again friends, if you look at this movement, you find that many critics, for example we have William J. Long, E. Albert, then David Deutsch, who says that this is the second renaissance or the second rebirth of intellectual morality or the second kind of intellectual movement in the history of English literature. And again here we have some of other things about this historical background in this Puritan age. If you look at the political stability, we do not find any political stability in Elizabethan after Elizabethan age, in this Puritan age 1620 to 1660, if you look at this period, we find that there are many upheavals in the social life of people and the political life or the politics of England. For example, here we find that in 1642, all the theaters were closed, a very major setback in the literature. Then again we find some other events, like in 1625 King Charles the First came on throne and immediately he dissolved the parliament. That is the great setback in the politics of England. We find that the parliament has been dissolved by Charles the First when he came on throne in 1625. Then again in 1642 the civil wars began, which formed again a greater impact on the literature, and the society were divided into two groups: the reformist group, or we can say that the group in favor of the king, and the group in favor of the parliament or reformist group. So in this way the society has been divided already in 1642. Then we find in 1649 again King Charles the First has been executed. So this is again the great event in the life of politics of England. Again in 1643 there were censor on the press or the free liberty of the press, and these kind of things have greater impact on the literature produced in those states. So all these things we need to consider while discussing this Puritan age and its historical background. So friends, this is all about the historical background of the Puritan age. I hope you understood many things. What we need to understand here, the very first thing is that it is a moral kind of movement began in England in this period in 1620s or in 1625. Then though it seems religious in its nature, yes, it is greatly religious in its nature, but it is not a religious sect. This thing also we need to consider, because the people like Cromwell, the literary persons like John Milton, they emphasized on the personal liberty, and hence we find John Milton's pamphlets, political pamphlets, very famous. Then we have Hampden. So these people were in favor of the social and personal liberty of human beings, and hence though the movement was religious in nature, but it was not a religious sect. They have all types of religious beliefs included in them or in this movement. So this thing we need to understand. Again we need to understand about the historical and political events of 1642, 1643, 1625 and 1649. Again there are many events happened in the core of this history. So this is the historical background of Puritan age. Now friends, let's move to the next point, that is what were the prominent features of this Puritan age, or what were the events which were considered prominent in this period. So here we have very first event or very first feature, prominent characteristics, is that the reaction to Elizabethan literature. If you look at the Elizabethan literature, we find that the Elizabethan literature was romantic in its nature. They have given more importance to the romantic kind of things in the literature. If you look at Shakespearean drama, Shakespearean comedy or tragic comedy, or other poets' poetry or other kinds of drama, you find this romanticism is very evident in those literature. But here in Puritan age we find that the intellectual things or intellectual morality is considered more significant. The passions are considered more significant here. So this is one of the reaction to Elizabethan literature. Again we find that in Elizabethan period we have different types of drama with a greater lengths, different types of poetry with a longer kind of lengths. But here we find there are short poems, short songs, short lyrics which were flourished in greater numbers. A lot of poets composed short kind of poems or shorter poems. So this is again we can say a reaction to the Elizabethan literature. Next we have prose writing. Prose writing flourished a lot. You find there were many writers who composed prose. For example, we have historical prose, political prose, then we have philosophical prose, psychological prose in this particular age. Again we have very famous sermons and the pamphlets, political pamphlets, very famous in this period. So this is the reaction to Elizabethan literature, the first point. Second point, here we have the great poet John Milton. In this period, we find the greatest of all poets in English literature after Shakespeare is John Milton. So John Milton is the product of this age, is the product of this kind of society. So John Milton generally is known for his great epics, but he also is famous as a pamphleteer. He wrote pamphlets, political pamphlets, and if you look at his personal life, you find that how struggle he made in his life and how he suffered from a lot of things in those days. If you remember the event, his pamphlets were burnt by people, fanatic people. His house also was burnt by these people, and a lot of literature has been lost in that burning. And that is not the loss of John Milton, but the loss of great English literature. So this kind of events happened, and we need to consider John Milton, and we will discuss John Milton in detail in the next videos. So this is the second feature. So here we have third feature, that is the historical events. If you look at the history of this period, you find that we have civil wars as a historical event. Then we have dispute and struggle between parliament and king. Then we have the division of society based on the civil war in 1642. Again, we have the censorship on people's common rights. Then we have censorship on press. So different kinds of events happened in this period, and all these events have impact on the literature produced in the period. So this is the third kind of thing. Number 4, we have metaphysical poets. Now this period is important for metaphysical poets also, because we find that for the first time this metaphysical poets, the very term has been used by Dr. Samuel Johnson, and he referred to Abraham Cowley and John Donne as metaphysical poets. If you look at the literature of these metaphysical poets or poetry of these metaphysical poets, we find that they used conceits and imagery in their poems. We have psychological insights in their poems. Again, we have some mystic kind of things they involved in their poetry, they incorporate in their poetry, and hence sometimes we think that this poetry is difficult to understand, but this is not difficult if we go in the deep of these metaphysical poets. Again, in metaphysical poets we have Crashaw, we have Herbert, we have Marvell and others. So these poets were composed a different kinds of poetry, a different kinds of genre of poetry, a mystic kind of poetry, and hence they have prominent place in this Puritan age. Next, number 5, we have Cavalier poets. After metaphysical poets, Cavalier poets also become significant. In their poetry, we find general theme of love. They based their themes, most of the themes on love, and these poets include Kerrig, Lovelace and Suckling, and there are other also. So generally when we look at the poems composed by these poets or the songs composed by Lovelace or Suckling, we find they have very polished style. They were composed in simple but dignified structure. So this is the feature of their poetry or the poetry of Cavalier poets. Next point here, number 6, we have expansion of prose or the increase in the prose writing. We find that the drama has been closed down in 1642, and we find it has taken the place of prose writing. We find we have political prose, we have philosophical prose, we have psychological prose, we have prose on different types of events happened in history, so historical prose, and the pamphlets and sermons were very popular in those days. John Milton also composed some political pamphlets which were considered as the controversial pamphlets for the first time in English language. So prose has got the scope in this period. So this is also one of the features of this period, prose expansion. And the last feature of this period is that the decline of drama or the fall of drama. Now friends, as we have seen that the drama has been declined in its morality, and hence Puritans very strongly opposed the drama. So this is one of the reasons to the decline of drama. The second reason we have here civil wars. When the civil wars began, all the public gatherings were prohibited. Public or the people never come together to watch a drama, and in 1642 there were the legal announcement of the closing of theaters, and this decision has been taken by the parliament. So because of these reasons, the drama has been declined in this period. So this was the causes of the decline of drama. But in the place of drama, we find other literature flourished. For example, prose writing or different types of writing. So dear, in this particular video, we talked about the historical background of Puritan age and the prominent features of Puritan age. In the next video or the coming video, we will talk about the poets and the prominent writers in this Puritan age. So till, stay tuned, watch History of English Literature on our channel. Like this video, share this video among your friends, subscribe to Literature Simply, and don't forget to press the bell notification icon.